What's going on, guys? It's PlayerPlayzZ here, and today we're going to be reacting to Paw Patrol: The Final Mission, Part 4, The End, co-written by Frelke Productions, and it's by the Shadow Reader. This is the final part, guys.
It didn't take me long to get myself to where I was going at. Once I had arrived, I noticed the familiar and red flickering that I had seen a few weeks back. That could only mean one thing. Those cult members were back. And where there were cult members, there was Mayor Goodway. I grabbed my gun from my gun holster and made my way towards the path to the cave in the same way I'd went last time. However, I made sure to check my surroundings to make sure that I wasn't being followed or anything. After a few minutes of walking, I found the main clearing that led to the cave. Once I got there, I was surprised to see that nobody was there. The only thing that I did see was a large bonfire. Then I saw that the cave was completely open. No debris or anything. I knew for a fact that something was wrong, so I grabbed Ryder's tablet and contacted Everest and Tracker. "Hey Mike, what's up?" Everest said as her face popped up onto the screen. "Everest, we've got a major problem," I said quietly. "What is it?" "I've got no time to explain. Just get yourself as well as Tracker and Chase here with you as soon as you can." I immediately hung up the call on the tablet and carefully placed the device back into my jacket. I then got up from where I was and slowly made my way towards the entrance of the cave. As I did, flashbacks of what had happened months back started flashing in my head, laying at a rapid pace. The blood, the collars, the equipment, and the half-eaten bodies of the pups all made every single step I had made a lot harder than it should have been. As I went deeper into the cave, I noticed a lack of torches illuminating the area. So in order to try and not run into a stalagmite or something along those lines, I pulled out my flashlight and turned it on. It didn't really help too much since the battery was starting to die out, and the light bulb would only illuminate a certain area of the cave with a dim light. So with as much caution as I could muster, I slowly made my way further into the poorly lit hallway of the cave. Step by step, I grew closer and closer to where I needed to get to, the back room where I had met the beast for the first time. I continued walking for about 5 minutes when I heard a wet squishing sound emanate from my foot hitting something. I shined my light at what I had stepped on and I saw the mutilated head of a police officer. I jumped back in fright as my flashlight dropped to the ground. The light immediately flickered to its brightest setting, and I saw one of the worst sights that I had ever seen since I had found the bodies of Zuma, Rocky, and Marshall. There were bodies, about 25 in total, all hanging from the ceiling of the cave by their necks by what appeared to be barbed wire. Their bodies were all the police officers from the ABPD. They looked just like they had been They looked like they had just been killed, as I noticed an absence of decay from the hanging corpses. They all, with the exception of one body, looked like they had been drained of their blood. Their skin bore a pale, empty, and pure white hue, with a hint of blue in their faces. Fresh blood still dribbling down their necks from contact with the barbed wire. I could smell the overbearing scent of iron as I continued to walk. I wasn't sure what was going to happen to me, but I braced myself for whatever the hell was awaiting me. I continued down the path, trying not to retch from the heavy stench of gore and the metallic aftertaste of blood that lingered in my mouth for some reason. I then made my way to what I assumed was the main part of the cave. I entered. I shined my flashlight around the area and saw her. No, it. Mayor Goodway, standing at the very center of the cave. She bore a look of absolute hatred in her eyes as she stared at me. She then snapped her fingers, and the torches that had previously been unlit lit up like a 70s game show. "How are you still alive, bitch?" I said with shock mixed with anger. Goodway started to chuckle. Then she spoke. "You see, Mike, after you shot me in the head, Leon came to me in spirit form. You see, your little holy water didn't completely destroy him. You just got rid of his physical form. And then he came to me and took over my body. It took a little while for the bullet wound to completely heal, but after a while I had completely regained consciousness. And here I am today, ready to enact my revenge." Before I could say anything else, I heard the sound of Chase's police siren in the distance. I turned and saw Chase, Everest, and Tracker pulling up to the cave, jumping out of their pup-mobiles, and running into the cave. Goodway's grin turned into a deep, angry, and hateful frown when she saw the three pups making their way towards me. "Pups!" I yelled in joy. "You're just in time!" Mayor Goodway?" Everest said with her head tilted with a confused yet horrified look on her face. "She's not what you think she is, Everest," I said, staring at Goodway. Goodway looked at me, smirked, and then began to laugh. "Do you honestly think you and your silly little pups are gonna stop me?" "Mike, what is she talking about?" questioned Tracker. "Don't listen to her, Tracker," I said. "She's just an ugly bitch. As long as I'm here, you're all gonna be fine. Now, I have a plan," I said as I grabbed my necklace and yanked it off my neck. "It's time to get rid of this bitch, once and for all," I said to myself. "You must be very happy to be working with the Paw Patrol," Everest said, looking over at Tracker. "It doesn't seem like either of you get to do much with them now, do you?" She grinned a huge, ugly grin. "Don't listen to her. She's fucking nuts," I yelled. Goodway continued on with their little speech. "You wanna know what's funny, Mike? How do you think I managed to find you and the other pups so easily?" I look at her, confused, yet concerned. "What are you talking about, you fat bitch?" I said to her. "You see, I had a little help finding you. 2 special pups." I paused. Wait, what?" I said with a concerned look on my face. I then pulled out the pup pad that Everest had given to me. I flipped it over on its back, only to see a flashing tracker signal on its pad. It was all coming together now. I thought in my head, I can't believe it. I then turned around, now facing Everest and Tracker. I yelled, "You motherfuckers!" Chase's ears went down as he backed up slowly, feeling scared. "I always knew that there was something suspicious about you two since the day we met. I took you motherfuckers in to be part of this family, only for you to do something like this?" I quickly turned back to Goodway, only to see her just standing there with that wide fucking grin on her face. I started walking towards her. "This ends now!" I screamed as I felt a sharp pain in my leg. "Mike, no!" I yelled Chase. I fell on the ground, only to see a pocket knife stuck into my leg. I look up to see Tracker with the same fucking grin on his face, stepping back thinking that I was gonna fight back. Everest started running towards Chase.
Chase!
"No! Don't kill him just yet," said Goodway. "We need him alive for a little longer. I want him to suffer." Everest nodded as she picked up a rock, hitting Chase over the head and knocking him out. "You son of a bitch! I swear, if you put another finger on him!" I yelled as I quickly pulled the knife out of my leg. "What should we do with Mike?" asked Tracker. "Oh, I have something special for him," Goodway replied. Goodway nodded her head, and I turned to see Tracker with the same rock she had hit Chase with. She swung the rock towards me as I quickly dodged it, falling on the ground again. "Not this time," Tracker said as he bit down on my right leg where the knife wound was. I screamed as I took the knife and swung it over at Tracker. The knife barely touched his fur as I felt something hard hitting the back of my head. Within a few seconds, I could see nothing but blackness. My eyes widened as I tried to rub the back of my head, only to find that I couldn't. Both of my hands were tied behind my back as I quickly struggled to try and get free. I could see that all the police gear and gun that I had was on a table near me. I looked up to see Chase still knocked out. He was tied up too, but not like me though. All 4 of his paws were tied to 4 sticks that were planted on the ground, stretching him out. Chase was stretched out in a big stone in the middle of the circle in front of me. The circle was a pentagram, with lit candles surrounding it. I looked to my right to see Goodway in a huddle with Tracker and Everest talking quietly. I couldn't make out what they were saying, but I knew for a fact that it wasn't good. I turned my head back to Chase as I heard him groaning. He woke up slowly, turning his head towards me with a look of worry. "Mike," groaned Chase. I quickly tried shushing him. "Oh, good. You're both awake," Goodway said happily. Chase and I both looked at Goodway. "Mike, I wanted you to have the best seat in the house." I glared at her with such anger in my eyes. "You want to kill someone, bitch?" I shouted. "Kill me!" "Oh, don't worry, Mike," Goodway said as she slowly turned towards me. "I'm saving you for something very special. But for now, I only need Chase." I continued to struggle more and more. Thankfully, I felt the ropes around my wrist getting loose. Apparently, those losers hadn't tightened it up that easily. I felt so helpless when I saw Goodway walking towards Chase. Goodway was now in the circle standing beside Chase. Chase started to have a panic attack. Mike, please help me!" I struggled so hard to get free that I fell to the ground, making the ropes around my wrist even more loose. "Tracker, Everest, watch Mike to make sure he doesn't do anything stupid." As I saw Tracker and Everest slowly walking towards me, they were both growling, showing their teeth. "I want you to do something. I'm not scared of you motherfuckers." I looked back at Chase and Goodway as she looked at me. "Now, Mike, you're gonna finally see the truth. You're gonna finally see who I really am." I watched with a nervous look on my face. Goodway then closed her eyes and raised both of her arms. "Leon, the gods of the underworld, come to me." I started to feel the whole cave rumble as I saw Tracker and Everest lose their balance. I wanted to close my eyes so badly, but I couldn't. Goodway then started lifting off the ground as her whole body started to transform. I then saw the other dead pups lifting up in the air as their heads ripped off from their bodies, blood squirting all over Chase. I couldn't even imagine the pain Chase was going through as he saw this. He was crying as he shut his eyes extremely tight. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. The heads of all the pups started to connect to Goodway's deformed body as the headless bodies fell back under the ground. Goodway didn't even look human anymore. All I saw was a giant beast with long arms coming out with huge sharp talons, her eyes glowing green as her whole face crackled and as her jawline broke as it barely hung from her mouth. Now looking like a black, enormous, deformed spider with all the dead pups' heads on it, all their eyes glowing green as well, with their jaws snapped open, hanging from the upper parts of their mouths. Goodway started laughing, in that low, deep, demonic voice. Tracker and Everest were now paying attention to Goodway. This was my chance. The ropes around my wrist started coming loose as I quickly got out of them. Tracker noticed me and started running towards my gear on the table, but all I needed was my gun. I reached for my gun and Tracker jumped as he bit down on my arm. I grunted as I grabbed his neck and threw him against the wall. Tracker fell to the ground along with the wine. He got up, limping towards Goodway. I cocked my pistol and aimed it right at Tracker's head. As my bullet went through Tracker's head, causing him to fall to the ground with blood squirting from his head. His hind legs twitched as he laid there in a puddle of his own blood. Goodway heard the gunshot and turned her head towards me. I could hear the cracking sound as she turned her head. Goodway then laughed at me as she spoke in that disgusting tone of voice.
It's too late, Mike. You can't stop me now,
she said as she cut the ropes that was tying to Chase, grabbing him by his hind legs, making him upside down. Lifting him high off of the ground, I aimed my gun at Goodway, shooting at her, using up all my ammo. But it was useless. The bullets didn't affect her. Goodway laughed once more in that sick, demonic voice.
At this point, Mike, I'm unstoppable. You can't stop me.
Goodway then turned her head to Chase. Oh, the fear in Chase's eyes was unbearable. Chase said in anger, "Go to hell, Goodway." Goodway laughed.
Where do you think I come from, Chase? As I look into your eyes, I want to see you suffer.
Chase's eyes closed as Leon's arm extended behind Goodway. I could see a sharp talon coming out of the arm. I yelled, "Chase!" feeling so helpless, a million things going through my mind, thinking of how I could try and stop this monster. Chase replied in a shaky voice, "Mike." I saw the arm take a fast swing, plunging its claw right into Chase's side, right in the same place he got stabbed the last time. A huge gasp came from Chase as a claw got stuck into his side. Leon then quickly removed his claw from Chase's side as blood squirted from his open wound. Some of Chase's blood got on my face and body. Leon then let go of Chase, causing him to fall to the ground. I started running as fast as I could for Chase, trying to catch him. But I was too late. I heard a thud, and then Chase's body fell on the ground, hearing some of his bones breaking as he hit the floor. "Chase!" I yelled as I caught up to him, kneeling down, putting both of my hands over Chase's wounds. "Damn it, no!" I screamed. "Don't do this to me, Chase, please!" Chase couldn't talk. He was in deep shock as his whole body shook with the puddle of blood growing underneath him faster and faster. Everest then ran up to Goodway/Leon. "What should I do now, Goodway?" Everest asked while looking up to Leon. Leon slowly looked down at Everest.
Oh, Everest. I really appreciate all the help, but I'm afraid you're not needed anymore.
What? Everest replied with a shocked look. Before Everest could say anything else, Leon took one of its arms, quickly grabbing Everest's neck, pinning her against the wall, choking her as two more arms came out with sharp claws, jamming both claws into Everest's stomach. Everest screamed and gasped as both of Leon's claws dug deeper into her ribcage. Everest at this point was pretty much vomiting blood as the claws split her ribcage completely open, as blood and organs gushed and spilled onto the ground. Everest died instantly. Leon pulled his claws out, causing Everest to fall lifeless on the ground, with their face in a shocked and horrified expression. I immediately snapped as I got up and turned back to Leon.
Now it's your turn,
Goodway said as the beast reached its arm out, trying to grab me. I quickly dodged it. As I rolled, my crucifix fell out of my pocket and onto the ground. Thankfully, I had a spare one. I thought to myself as I hit the ground. I quickly spun around and grabbed the crucifix before Leon could. I looked around until I saw the pentagram where all the dead pups were. I quickly got up and ran to it.
Oh, no, you don't!
Goodway yelled as Leon's arm extended and wrapped around my leg, causing me to fall to the floor, dropping the crucifix in the process. I turned around to see Leon's other arm reaching out with the same sharp claw that had stabbed Chase with. I struggled to get out of Leon's grasp, but it was too strong. Leon's claw reached my back as it made a huge cut all the way down to my spine. I screamed as my muscles spasm forced me to move more towards the cross. As Leon started pulling me back, I reached my hand out as far as it could go, my finger just gripping the end of the chain of the crucifix. I quickly pulled it in towards me. As I got a better grip on it, I clutched it with one hand and drove it right into Leon's arm, causing him to twitch and release my leg as steam poured out of his arm.
Oh my.
I had one chance to do this, and I had to do it now and quick. I got up as I saw the claw coming down on me. I waited for the right moment. As the claw got closer, I quickly dodged it, and the claw dug into the ground next to me. I ran fast to the pentagram. I knew I had a very little chance of making it, so I took aim and threw the crucifix towards the pentacle. I landed right in the edge of the circle. Leon's arm grabbed me again, pulling me off the ground. As Leon's claw was about to stab me, it paused. Leon's grip had loosened, and I could feel my body being released. I fell back onto the ground. Thankfully, I wasn't lifted as high as Chase had been, so thankfully I wasn't injured as badly, or really at all. I looked up at Leon. He started shaking as he cried out an ear-piercing scream. I laughed a little bit. I immediately went up to the crucifix and smeared it all over the circle, destroying the pentagram and the candles over it. Leon's scream got louder, as if the whole cave was shaking as rocks began falling. I quickly got up and ran over to Chase, picking him up and holding him tight. I turned around to see Leon getting bigger, as if he was inflating. Leon gave out one final scream before exploding, causing chunks of gore and blood to spread all over the cave, as the whole cave started caving in from the inside, crushing what was left of Leon/Goodway. I turned back around as I ran faster out of the cave. I ran out with Chase, just as the cave caved in with the rocks tumbling down, blocking the tunnel of the cave completely. While holding Chase in my arms, I gently set him down. Chase coughed up blood as I continued to press on the wound, trying to make the bleeding stop. It's gonna be okay. You're gonna be alright, I said, trying to hold back my tears. I don't think I'm gonna make it this time, Mike, whimpered Chase. He was shaking. I could feel my throat lock up as tears started pouring down my face. Damn it, no! I cried. Don't you dare say that! I grabbed Chase, holding him tight in my arms, still trying to stop the bleeding. Chase started to cry. Mike, I'm so sorry. This is all my fault, Chase said while coughing. No, Chase, I cried. This is my fault. If I just didn't pick up that damn phone, if I wouldn't have forced you to come with me, none of this would have happened. We should have just left that shithole of a town where we were. Well, we had the chance. Chase lifted his shaking paw to my face, calming me down. Chase whispered, "It's okay, Mike." I started to cry more. I'm gonna be with my friends again in heaven. I can see them, too. I can see a light. It's so pretty. Thank you for everything, Mike. Chase took his last breath. I love you, Mike. Chase's eyes slowly closed, with his head resting against my chest. Chase? Chase? I cried. I knew he was gone. As the rain continued to pour down on me and Chase's lifeless body, I didn't know what to do now. All I could hear was ringing in my head as I stared at Chase's body. A million thoughts running through my head. I thought to myself, what do I do now? I'm the only one that's left. Everyone's gone. It felt like my whole body was shutting off like a light switch. I was living in a nightmare that I just couldn't wake out of. This was reality. Adventure Bay, where everything was always supposed to be fun and happy, was gone. I made up my mind. I picked up Chase with tears running down my face and slowly walked to the cemetery. The walk felt like an eternity, but I finally arrived at the Adventure Bay cemetery, only to see the whole place still destroyed, tombstones flipped over and rolled up coffins that were just dug out. Carrying Chase, still in disbelief that this was all still happening, I walked over to the corner of the cemetery to see that there was a clean, shiny black small coffin. Under it was a deep hole as if it was just about to be lowered into the ground. I stared at the coffin for a while and then nodded my head. I knew what had to be done. I stared at the coffin for a while, and I looked over and opened it. I gently rested Chase's body on it. I placed his head on the white soft pillow and folded his paws together so that they were resting on his stomach. All I could do was just stare at Chase's lifeless body, feeling guilt and anger build up inside me. Chase, I'm so sorry, I cried with more tears coming down my face. Those were the only words that would come out of my mouth. As I took one more look at Chase, I slowly closed the coffin. I picked up a rose and right next to the coffin and gently set it into it, and then started turning the handle slowly as I saw the coffin lowering into the ground deeper and deeper. After that, I grabbed the nearest shovel and started shoveling the dirt back into the hole and onto the coffin. When I was done, I tossed the shovel to the ground and dropped to my knees, putting my hands on my face, smothering it in dirt and Chase's blood as I started to cry louder. I cried so much to the point where tears stopped coming out of my eyes. As I slowly got up, my body and clothes soaked and covered in dirt and blood, I took one more look at the pile of dirt where Chase laid in peace before I walked back to my car, driving back to my apartment. Keys jiggled as I unlocked the door and opened it. I walked to my apartment, hearing nothing but the rain hitting against my window. I walked to my room, hoping and praying to see Chase barking and jumping up on me, licking my face repeatedly. But all I could see was a cold, dark, empty room. I took my uniform off and laid it on my bed, and strapping my belt for my pants, I sat on my bed, staring at it for 30 minutes. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath and sighed as I got up and walked to my kitchen, pulling a chair into the main living room where my ceiling fan hung. At this point, nothing could stop me from what I was about to do. I wrapped the belt around the ceiling fan,
Oh no.
giving it a quick pull to make sure it was sturdy, and then wrapped the belt around my neck, making sure it was tight. I closed my eyes for the last time. I'll soon wake up from this nightmare, and I'll be together forever with my friends and family for eternity. I slowly started to lift my right leg in front of me, smiling, knowing that I would be at peace soon, and I was going to be with Chase and all the other pups again. As I slowly lost my balance, I started to lean my body forward.
I really don't know what to say right now. But that was Paw Patrol: The Final Mission. I really don't know what to say. don't know what to say. I really don't know. But that was the Paw Patrol final mission, and I hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. I'll see you guys later.